Hello to everyone. Welcome to this last row of sessions of the Smart City Expo World Congress of this 2014 edition. We will be sharing today in this session a set of initiatives, a set of solutions, a set of strategies that have been implemented in the urban context to make it more efficient. So we will be looking at how we do consume energy, how do we park and move around in city, how do we organize, and which strategies do we have to develop to make cities more efficient with regards to the energy we are consuming, and how do we also organize better the landscape in which we live. So this is going to be a very tight schedule because we have 10 people to present. Each of them will have 5 minutes, and at the end of the session you will have 10 minutes to do some questions on what has been presented. So without any delay, I will be already introducing our first participant. His name is Arturo Marquina. He's the project manager from Solintel M&P.
Okay, hello everyone. As Alvaro said, I'm the project manager of the project Zones for Energy Control of Buildings. And we are going to present one project that we are developing in Spain and in Italy. And there are a lot of companies in Europe involved in this project. So you can see here that the aim of our project is to see the development of a simple and cheap ICT solution for energy efficient control of buildings. This technical challenge is the variable occupancy density in visitor and passengers areas, in shopping malls and airport terminals buildings. As you can see, the project aims is to reduce the energy consumption of this building by using advanced solutions with acoustic sensors in addition to the already installed sensory equipment within the building management systems. Here we have the 3 pilots. This is Mare Magnum shopping mall here in Barcelona in the Old Port, Principe Pio in Madrid, and Linate Airport in Milan, Italy. The occupancy detection for control buildings is now an item because different sensor systems are available already in the market. However, they drawbacks running from poor response time. So the SFORICOP assumes that the use of buildings goes hand in hand with sounds. This is not a trivial task. Occupancy is made up with a complex mixture of zones, and it's difficult to determine the exact number of people in the area. However, for our application in a building management system, the control of heating, ventilation, and lighting with acoustic sensor is sufficient and beneficial enough. Here we have the acoustical technology. We call it as BEMO. Building Energy Management Optimizers, and it's composed by 3 items. One audio sensor systems that allows the monitoring of sounds via the adaptable and scalable network microphones, the acoustic protection units. This design is to detect and establish the occupancy levels in the areas, and a web monitor that allows the integration and visual monitoring of parameters for occupancy level. Here we have the scheme for the acoustical system, in which we can see, we can see the BEMO server. Here we can see the BEMO server connected with an IPU and the 3 ISU. Each ISU is composed by 8 microphones that are in the area that we can control. Here we have the network scheme that we have to establish a subnet in all the shopping centers and airports in order to connect our system to the BMS and the networks of the building. Okay, here we have the scheme, the control monitoring deployment in Mare Magnum. This is a special case because it's composed by a condensing loop with water C, in which we have to connect the BMS with variable frequency drivers, and we establish the algorithm for control the frequency of these variable frequency drivers. In this way, we have controlled the consume with energy meters, the acoustic flow, and 7 high temperature sensors. Here we have the control and monitoring for the Principe Pio, in which we control the rooftop with BMS energy meters and with the sounds. This is a more simple control device. The GE2, we are controlling the set points on the inflows, in the air inflows. Okay, we have here the system performance, the optimization buildings. We improve the original simulations and improve the monitoring data sheets. We comparing the annual bills and the installation of the systems. With this, we obtain savings in the electricity consumption, as you can see here. We have here the blue column is the baseline, and the red one is the optimized baseline. As you can see, we have energy savings and energy consumptions, and you have here the detailed savings per month. In Principe Pio, as I said before, is a more simple connection, and we establish the optimization strategy through a pre-cooling, in which you can see here the explanation about the control of this system. And here we have all the companies involved: the Polonia in Italy, Solintel in Spain, Fraunhofer IDMT in Oldenburg, Germany. IMMS is a mechatronic company in Germany as well. Austrian Institute of Technology. You can visit the stand of IT here in the Smart Cities Expo. SEA Italy is the company that controls the airports in Milan. And Corio is a Netherlands company that controls a lot of shopping malls in Spain, Europe, and out of Europe. Thank you very much for your time. I know that it has been a few times, but I don't have more. If you want further explanations or information, please visit this webpage.
Thanks, Arturo. Our next speaker will be Sharelynn Moore. She comes from the Itron Incorporated company, and she's the Vice President of Corporate Marketing and Public Affairs.
Hello, welcome, and thank you. As I introduced, my name is Sharelynn Moore, and I am with Itron. For those of you who may not know Itron, we're a global company based out of the U.S. Our technology and our solutions are global solutions that we've provided for more than 25 years to help utilities, electricity, gas, and water, automate their systems, their delivery systems around the world. Some of the things that Itron helps our utilities do is provide smart connected meters, the associated software, the data collection systems, and the knowledge and the insights to help utilities understand what's being used in their distribution systems and more efficiently and reliably deliver their product to citizens. What we're seeing is utilities in various projects around the world with some of our most smart, sophisticated technologies are deploying smart interconnected networks where they're not only able to automate their meter reading process so that they know how much their citizens and their businesses are actually using and consuming, they can better meter and then therefore bill their citizens more accurately. They're better able to understand what's going out on the networks so that they can know if an outage is occurring, electricity's out of power. For water, you can monitor your usage, better determine where leaks are happening. And in the case of gas utilities, there's incredible potential not only for operational efficiencies, but to use those same networks to monitor safety and pressure, methane sensing, so that they can detect for potential leaks and improve the opportunity to safely deliver natural gas. So there's tremendous opportunities with the technology and the business cases for utilities to deploy these smarter systems. And we're seeing a pretty rapid rate of adoption. There are more than 130 communicating devices deployed electric, gas, water around the world. There are sophisticated networks being deployed over many large cities being used to better manage these systems. And what we're finding as a potential in the future, as we look at cities and we look at opportunities, utilities have a tremendous role and opportunity to play in how the city's better managing or how the city's managing its electricity, its gas and water. We really see that it's foundational for a city to be sustainable and that it is most efficiently managing its resources, its electricity, its gas, and its water, to better manage that city and to be more economically viable. And if we look even further ahead, the opportunities with what else can be done with these utility investments is tremendous. So if a utility is deploying a very highly secured network technology that they would use for their metering and for better doing what the utility needs to do, these are often cases open systems, multi-service, highly secure, IP-enabled networks that have the opportunity, the potential not only to allow the utility to do more, such as some of the leak detection devices that Arturo talked about in his last presentation, that the utility can employ on that network, but that cities may be able to use and look at what they can do with smart street lighting or traffic sensors. So there's tremendous opportunity as we look to the future for utilities to work together to leverage the same network technologies potentially, but also to collaborate with cities and leverage these investments to be able to do more with the technology that's being deployed for each city. So with that, I'll go ahead and make sure I leave plenty of room for my partners that are here with me today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker will be Elena Peiró. She comes from a startup that it's called JoinUp. She's the co-founder and CEO. Sí.
¿Le tengo que dar aquí primero? No.
Encara no t'han canviat?
Vale. Bueno, pues buenos días a todos. Mi nombre es Elena Peiró y soy ingeniero de caminos. Y os preguntaréis por qué os lo digo. Bueno, pues tanto mi socio, el socio de mi empresa, como yo, somos los dos ingenieros de caminos y nos hemos dedicado mucho tiempo a construir grandes infraestructuras. Venga, puentes por aquí, carreteras por allá, otra rotonda nueva. ¿Y qué ocurre? Bueno, pues al principio está todo muy libre de coches, está muy bien, pero en un periodo pequeñito de tiempo lo que ocurre es esto. Nos volvemos a encontrar otra vez nuestras carreteras atascadas de coches. Y nosotros nos preguntábamos si realmente necesitamos más recursos para mejorar la movilidad en nuestras ciudades. Así que lo que hicimos es mirar a nuestro alrededor y decidir, ya hay suficientes coches en la ciudad. De hecho, en Barcelona y en Madrid hay más de 25.000 taxis que están circulando, la mayoría del tiempo vacíos. Así que decidimos dejar nuestros trabajos y lanzarnos a hacer nuestra startup con solo 2 años de vida y a lanzar nuestra primera aplicación que se llama JoinUp Taxi. Es una aplicación muy sencilla que parece fácil pero tiene su complicación y lo que te permite es buscar a otras personas que quieran compartir el taxi contigo y por tanto que sea más barato y más sostenible para la ciudad. La gente nos decía, pero ¿quién va a compartir un taxi, no? El taxi es para ir uno solo, esto no funciona, pero desde que lanzamos hemos tenido mucha suerte porque todos los taxistas de este país, es donde hemos empezado, nos han llamado porque creen en esta solución. Ellos saben que hay un nuevo cliente, que es el que quiere el taxi compartido, y gracias a eso podemos estar en todas estas ciudades en tan poquito tiempo y además tener el apoyo de las administraciones que encuentran por fin una manera de tener el taxi como uno de los servicios públicos al alcance de todos los bolsillos. En este poquito tiempo, bueno, nos gusta presumir de nuestros premios porque somos pequeñitos y nos hace más fuertes. Tenemos el primer premio del Smart City Congress que se celebró en Sabadell por nuestra aplicación. Además tenemos el premio más importante que da el Ayuntamiento de Madrid por transporte sostenible de personas y gracias a que han confiado en nosotros, tanto la Generalitat como el Ministerio de Industria, hemos podido ir 2 veces sin prácticamente recursos al Mobile World Congress. Y bueno, no solo están los taxistas o las administraciones confiando en esto, sino otras grandes entidades, como es el caso de Iberia. Iberia lo que pretende es darle, y tenemos un acuerdo con ellos, es darle un transporte más fácil a sus viajeros y más económico. Muchas veces es más difícil llegar desde tu casa hasta el aeropuerto que al destino final, y nosotros junto con ellos conseguimos esto y además que sea mucho más barato compartiendo el taxi. O también colaboramos en eventos pues, tan importantes como el Mundial de Balonmano o el Festival Internacional de Cine, donde mucha gente se aglutina, se producen atascos, dificultad en los transportes, y nosotros conseguimos, gracias a esta aplicación, bueno, pues que la gente pueda ir más cómoda, más rápido, y que además lo pueda hacer a un precio pues, muy asequible. Y bueno, en este poquito tiempo, aunque somos jóvenes, bueno, estamos muy contentos porque hemos podido conseguir algo por el medio ambiente. Nuestra aplicación permite dos opciones: pedir un taxi para ti solo, pero también compartirlo. En este tiempo hemos visto que el 25% de las solicitudes, y creciendo, han sido solicitudes para taxi compartido. No todas ellas se han podido llevar a cabo, pero sí muchas. Y hemos conseguido dejar de emitir casi 3 toneladas de CO2. Eso significa un montón de kilómetros, un montón de gasolina, y significan, fijaros, 17.000 hogares lo que consumen en un día. Esto lo hemos eliminado, hemos reducido esas emisiones. Así que estamos muy orgullosos. Y bueno, como nosotros siempre decimos, para las ciudades inteligentes, que tiene que ser para ciudadanos inteligentes, siempre vamos a por una opción en la que todos ganemos. Estamos contentos porque la nuestra todo el mundo gana. Gana el ciudadano porque consigue un transporte mucho más rápido y mucho más económico. Está al alcance de todos los bolsillos ahora, un transporte que antes no estaba. Además gana el taxista, está muy contentos porque hay un nuevo cliente, gente que no lo cogería nunca solo, pero en cambio sí lo va a coger cuando es compartido. Y, por supuesto, ganan nuestras ciudades porque evitamos emisiones de CO2 y, por supuesto, hacemos una ciudad que es lo que queremos, sacar vehículos privados de la calle, cambiándolos por un taxi, que es similar. Y, por tanto, pues hacemos una ciudad con menos CO2 y eso vuelve a redundar en los ciudadanos, que seguramente estarán mucho más contentos de ver sus ciudades más libres de coches y más limpias. Y esto es todo. Muchísimas gracias.
Hola. Well, I was told the other day that it was better to introduce in the middle of the session some questions from the audience, if you had, because if not at the end, you have already forgotten what was said at the beginning of it. So if you at any moment have questions, just please stand to the alley. There is some microphones there, and you can, well, put your questions to the speakers, and we will try to gather them. So our next speaker will also be sharing with us a solution for sharing information and sharing and doing more, having more and saving energy. He's Josep Maria Salas, and he comes from ENERBYTE. He's the Chief Strategy Officer.
Hello, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here and sharing these 4 minutes of our presentation. The title is Empowerment of Residential Electricity Users, from smart meters to smart citizens. These days we have seen a lot of different devices, electric vehicles, lighting, a lot of complexity, data analytics, and this is an example of the Barcelona Supercomputing Center. But I would like to focus my speech in the most maybe important thing that we can do these days, that it's just you. We have to put the citizens in the middle of the smart cities if we want to really move forward a change of energy, transition, and so on. And we, as a small company, we have 2 years old, we have developed ENERBYTE, as ENERBYTE, the tool personal energy, that tries to provide citizens to energy-saving insights in a very personalized way. Our platform uses the data from smart meters. We have seen this morning that Europe is under the smart metering rollout, that citizens want 70% of people wants to get insights for make a better use of energy, and so on. So this is one of the points that we use. Then we apply big data, we apply analytics, we share data with social and other aspects to promote the behavior change. So this is our value proposition. To do so, we provide to the citizens with understandable information. So we are a kind of translator. We translate technical data, it's energy data, to something to promote action. We introduce gamification. We are using rankings, benchmark with different users, and so on. we try to shift the experience to a community level. So it's not only a matter of me as a citizen, but also me as a member of a community. I'm proud to be a member of a community that wants to save energy. And of course, in a personalized way. Everybody of us are different, so we cannot provide the same kind of messages, the same kind of tools to everybody. And to do so, and to make a business case behind, we strongly believe that we have to also qualify information regarding products and services energy efficiency related. We have a strong consumer behavior approach. We have made a scientific analysis and we have our mathematical models to split consumers in different segments according to their willingness in front of energy savings, in front of buying energy efficiency products and habit change. We have, after this research, we have split the consumers in three main groups. Those that want to save energy through buying products, the other important group that wants to save energy by changing his behavior, for instance, losing even their comfort, and the third group is comfort-orientated and indifferent people. So it's absolutely important to make this classification to afterwards provide with the right insightful to everybody. Projects and some results. We have done the projects in cities. We have 1 year experience in a commercial path. We have actually a project, the first in Ruby City, that this is a city close by Barcelona, and we are also working with in the Basque Country with the Diputación. Together they are around 550 citizens. And also we have the first utility, there's 10,000 customers. We are really focusing also utilities to improve the relationship to their customers. And the result that we have achieved is that 12% of savings, thanks to using proactively our platform in front of the 4% of savings that do that just having the data. So providing add value over the data is absolutely necessary to achieve these results. And in terms of usability of the web, we have 57% of users, really proactive members of the community, more than 700 interactions in only 3 months, 67% of open rate clicks of the weekly newsletter that we provide with a very, very insightful information, and 6.6% of click rate. So I would just say, let's start, and thanks for your attention.
Thank you, Josep Maria. Our next speaker will be Sabine Flores. She's the project leader of the Metropolregion in Hannover.
Hello. Vehículos eléctricos para los transportes municipales son un modelo viable y sostenible. La área metropolitana de Hannover, Braunschweig, Göttingen, Wolfsburg es una de las 11 áreas metropolitanas en Alemania. Somos organizados como una sociedad limitada, que significa somos casi 60 municipalidades y luego 50 empresas y 15 universidades y el Land Baja Sajonia. Esto significa que somos casi 4 millones de habitantes y una área de 19.000 kilómetros cuadrados, lo que significa 5% de Alemania. Nos entendemos como una plataforma para el desarrollo y la realización de proyectos innovativos de cooperación. Así, hemos sido elegida por el gobierno alemán como una de las regiones modelos para la movilidad eléctrica en Alemania. Ya en 2011, los municipios declararon como primera área metropolitana en Alemania la meta de cubrir de un 100% de las necesidades de energía para electricidad, calor y sobre todo el transporte de transporte. Y en consecuencia, implementamos la movilidad eléctrica aquí en nuestra región. Los vehículos eléctricos jugarán un papel importante en los sistemas innovativos de transporte y, en consecuencia, para la calidad de vida, sobre todo en los centros urbanos, por ser exentos de emisiones locales y silenciosos. Y además, si la electricidad es procedente de energías renovables, los vehículos eléctricos son respetuosos con el clima. Pero, ¿por qué hacemos nosotros? ¿Qué hacemos nosotros para la movilidad eléctrica? Primero, hemos implementado los primeros vehículos eléctricos en los municipios de nuestra región. Y también soportamos los municipios de desarrollar competencia en cuanto a crear y realizar medidas locales y regionales para promover la movilidad eléctrica en nuestra región. También somos presentes en nuestra área, pero también cooperamos a nivel europeo para intercambiar conceptos regionales de la movilidad eléctrica. La flota. Desde hace un año operamos una flota de cerca de 150 pequeños coches eléctricos. Participan más de 80 municipalidades y sus instituciones. Fuimos más de 500.000 kilómetros, lo que significa que reducimos el uso de gasolina de 30.000 litros y ahorramos 30 toneladas de CO2. Teniendo en cuenta la mezcla alemana de electricidad. Así demostramos que la autonomía es ningún tema en flotas municipales y casi no hay gastos para crear infraestructura de carga, porque cargan durante la noche. La caja de enchufe tradicional está suficiente en este caso. Pero bueno, lo que queda es el precio muy alto de compra. Pero en cambio, casi no hay costes de mantenimiento. La tracción eléctrica es energéticamente muy eficiente y los precios para la electricidad son aún más bajos para los municipios y la industria. Después de un año, vemos que casi no hay daños de causa de la tecnología de tracción eléctrica. Por eso, para poder operar más o menos económicamente los vehículos eléctricos, es muy importante de tener un concepto para implementarlos en los parques municipales. Sobre todo, hay que usarlos en sectores donde hay un kilometraje elevado. Si se optimiza al mismo tiempo la estructura de las flotas municipales, se puede reducir considerablemente los gastos adicionales y algunas veces incluso casi compensarlos. En la primera fase hemos implementado coches pequeños, pero ahora vamos a ampliar la flota con vehículos comerciales ligeros para el transporte y la logística urbana. Pensamos que es un sector muy importante para poder mejorar la calidad de vida en centros urbanos y hay muchísimo potencial. Mientras que se puede sustituir coches individuales por otros vehículos como autobuses y bicis o shared taxis, en el caso de logística urbana no es tan fácil. Como he dicho antes, somos presentes en nuestra región, pero también cooperamos a nivel europeo. Nuestros municipios mantienen una colaboración con regiones y organizaciones realizada principalmente por la Red Europea Milectric, que es otro proyecto en el escaparate de movilidad eléctrica en Alemania. Les invito a participar. Muchas gracias.
Thanks, Sabine. Our next speaker comes also from Germany. He's Jörg Sadel. It's a difficult pronunciation for me. And he's the chief Tetris operators for ParkTag social parking.
Yeah, I'm going to explain you how we use smartphones to solve the parking problem in big cities. First, some numbers. There are 1 billion cars and 2 trillion search minutes spent in searching traffic for parkings in big cities. There are 3 billion toothbrushes and 4 billion mobile phones. So, whatever this says about the toothbrush usage. And some quotes. Perhaps. Yep. Some big companies found out that a lot of cars will be, or most of the cars will be connected digitally by 2025, and car manufacturers are very confident that the parking problem will be solved during this decade. And the share economy is rising. We see Wikipedia with 20 million users. We see Waze with 50 million users. Airbnb with 1 billion users. And this is what we want to bring together. This results in our product, basically. We think we can help users by saving a part of the 50 minutes they spend every day for searching for parkings. We can help by saving a part of the 30% urban traffic that is spent for looking for parkings. We have a social interaction in our app for exchanging parkings, and it's an automated crowdsourcing model. What does the user have to do for this? He just has to install our app. He has to activate the location-based services. That means GPS and accelerometer data. And by that, he automatically takes part in our crowdsourced approach to detect free parking. And he becomes a daily user by this. How does it work? We have an algorithm that looks into the different sensors of a smartphone, specifically at the GPS sensor and the accelerometer data, and we can find out when users are switching from different moving patterns. So we can detect when users are walking or driving a bike or driving a car or riding a train. And whenever they are switching from a car to something different, for example walking, we know that they must have just parked their car. And we can detect when they move from walking to driving, so we can detect that a free parking was vacated. And we can detect typical searching patterns. So when people start looking for parkings, they slow down, take more turns. We can detect this by using the smartphone sensors. And we can bring these people then together. We can offer the free parking spot that just is being vacated to people that are searching in that area. And for people that go back to their car, we can offer these parkings as soon to be free parkings. Our app shows a map of all available parkings. So whenever you are, or the user is driving around and is looking for a parking, he can then open our app and sees the next free parkings around him. Yeah. And it actually works. The algorithm is in place. We have, in Berlin, for example, every day like 26,000 free parkings announced. And we have roughly 20 cities around the world with similar coverage. What needs to be done to, or how can we cooperate with partners, with cities or other businesses? We have an SDK that is able to be integrated in other apps. So there are a lot of companies that offer mobile park payment solutions. We can offer our SDK to integrate in this. We offer white label versions of our app that can be offered by cities or other big companies. We have data APIs that can be integrated into data platforms. And we are secretly founded by the German Ministry of Economy, T-Mobile, Bosch, and some other big companies. That's it. If you have any questions regarding this, feel free and ask me.
Thank you. Thank you, Jörg. Our next speaker, she's an architect Sophie Demigneux, and he will be sharing with us a project that she has developed in the Plaza del Diamant in Barcelona.
Buenos días. Mira, soy arquitecta y me dedico a hacer proyectos urbanos y de espacios públicos. Tengo un punto de vista bastante distinto de lo que se ha presentado hasta ahora, pero nosotros en espacio público tenemos la oportunidad de utilizar todas esas herramientas para mejorar la ciudad. Ahora voy a hablar de mi experiencia en el espacio público. Vemos que, vinculada a nuestra posición geográfica, asistimos a la irrupción de cantidad de imágenes y de mapas funcionales que modifican nuestra percepción y nuestras decisiones en la ciudad. En este nuevo entorno, las redes sociales generan un discurso imposible de controlar, y a veces, pero orientado en el espacio público, y a veces, cuando esos discursos apuntan y alaban un pequeño espacio urbano, los efectos son catastróficos. Ahora os hablaré del proyecto de reforma de la Plaza del Diamant de Barcelona, que es una pequeña plaza en el barrio histórico de Gracia, que está popularizada por las redes sociales por encima de su capacidad urbana. En este caso hemos proyectado implantar la tecnología Smart y especialmente el Wi-Fi como vector para alterar los comportamientos de estas comunidades jóvenes especialmente sensibles a su entorno virtual y así modificar y reorientar el funcionamiento del espacio urbano. Durante el estudio rápidamente aparece que las redes sociales que tratan de ocio y de turismo han creado un branding que alimenta el ocio nocturno, lo que llamamos en España el botellón, y de forma imposible de controlar. Las consecuencias sobre la ciudad son impactantes. Creciente pérdida de identidad del barrio, importante degradación ambiental y destrucción de la calidad de vida de los ciudadanos. Se decide implantar el Wi-Fi, entonces, para dar acceso a la dimensión virtual del espacio y incentivar nuevos comportamientos. ¿Qué destacamos de los comportamientos del ciudadano digital conectado que nos interesa implantar? Un espacio aumentado y enriquecido, una gamificación de las relaciones con el entorno, nuevas formas de comunicar silenciosas, y la apropiación del espacio en un mapa mental donde se junta la información sobre su comunidad, sus intereses y los posibles que ofrece la ciudad. Así se pretende diversificar y aumentar la calidad del espacio urbano percibido y fomentar la movilidad local. A nivel social, pasamos del grupo ruidoso a unos individuos atentos a las solicitaciones que les llega a través del smartphone, multiplicación de las experiencias y de los intereses, socialización ubicua y calmada y un nuevo mapa virtual que distorsiona el mapa real del entorno. Hemos reforzado esta estrategia privilegiando las situaciones de confort diurno. Hemos reducido la iluminación, disponiendo las farolas en las zonas de paso, con la posibilidad de intervenir en la intensidad lumínica según la actividad y las necesidades de la ciudad. En este esquema representa lo que puede significar un mapa smart de un espacio, teniendo en cuenta la influencia de la red social. Sería que sobre el mapa tradicional se agrega las capas de toda la información que nos puede llegar a través del smartphone. Y al contrario, se hace una intervención urbana de soporte espacial, mejora de la calidad ambiental con las plantaciones, valoración de los elementos de interés cultural, información con los carteles y direccionales y mejora de los equipamientos locales, en este caso los juegos infantiles. La revolución de la Smart City nos cambia los esquemas de trabajo. Existe una nueva dimensión que tenemos que integrar en el proyecto. Una dimensión cultural y social nueva que influye directamente sobre los espacios y los comportamientos. Nuestra propuesta propone desarrollar las tecnologías SMART, agregar todas esas tecnologías que proposéis, que sea la geolocalización, la información georreferenciada, la realidad aumentada, pero también tomando en cuenta los nuevos usos de los espacios públicos, como el trabajo ubicuo, el e-turismo, las redes comerciales, etc., para influir sobre los espacios urbanos a pequeña escala y considerar las reformas estructurales como obras de apoyo a un proyecto que pasa de la escala local a la escala global del mundo virtual. Gracias.
Thank you, Sophie. Our next speaker comes from Estonia. He's Andres Jaadla. He's the Director of Education of the Rakvere Smart House Competence Center and former mayor of that city.
Dear friends, it is a great honor to be today here and spend this next 4 minutes with you. Thank you for the former speaker. This was extremely good presentation before me. And I use this 4 minutes to tell you a story about small city in some far away in Estonia, and I'm quite difficult to do with 4 minutes, but I am a lot of pictures, and I'm just running pictures and not speak too much. So, little about myself. I was 10 years mayor of Rakvere and a lot of European obligation, member of committee region and vice president of all cities around the Baltic Sea. The other background is my housing background. I'm one founder of Estonia, today's biggest housing organization. We start 6 members in Rakvere, and now it's more like 1,400 members. And this summer I'm elected to the board in the biggest housing organization in Europe. So Rakvere is here, 100 kilometers from border to Russia, and we have quite old city, more like 800 years old, big history. Nowadays we are 7th largest city in Estonia, and we are making some brand like small but full of power. 2008, European Commission invited all mayors in Europe to Brussels to say, you mayor must take the obligation, save CO2 till 2020, 20%. And I was one of them, a neighbor with Vice Mayor of London and Milan and other important guys and ladies in Europe. 2009, we signed the government man and was one of the 370 cities in Europe who started process. But after them, I come home and thinking, so what we can do? And we made a plan, sustainable energy action plan for our city, and put it together 6 steps to smart development city of Rakvere. These 6 steps we have planned to save, to change the profile of produced energy. We must orientate to the saving in buildings, water consumption, street lighting, and city planning, and urban transport. We will start with district heating, and 2014 we are changing totally all long-distance heating from gas to biomass. This is you can see in last winter we not used gas anymore. This is investment more 8.3 million. We have quite many programs to rebuild different Soviet time old style building like new modern energy, low energy buildings. You see some kindergarten here in Rakvere here, investment from Switzerland money, music school, different buildings, how much we can do. Here is one big program. You see city of Rakvere. Here's 18 housing cooperatives with 8 types. We have make some architectural competition, not all level building, what the streets do. Here you see picture about these competitions, some ideas, the famous people, some from our cities, nowadays famous sumo wrestler in Japan and worldwide compositor Arvo Pärt is from our city. Here is some ideas how the street can look in the future. Here is the buildings before and after. Every mayor's like to show pillar before and later. So here is the builder too, how these plans go to reality. Here is the typical blocks, what is bad condition, but after the renovation looking great. Here is the water consumption. We invest more like 30 million euros to change the pipes, street lighting. We using only green energy in the street lighting and municipal buildings, and our plan today in Europe for smart cities is 600 million euro available. Smart City and Communities European Innovation Partnership, new program for European Commission. We are part of them. From the transport, we have small city, only 6 buses, nothing so much to do. But in Estonia in general, we have, I think, the best electric cars network in Europe. We have more like 186 loadings. You can, and our city, we have some network with Horizon 2020 to build maybe some new buses. Sustainable city planning is important that we are doing plan of concept of Smartware. Smart City Rakvere, this center was a leading right now. This is first public nearly zero energy building in Estonia, using with BIM, using solar energy, alternative energy. We have owned by all universities in Estonia and private companies here, and we have a quite interesting goal. Is this put together the old building and new building and look what's going on with the smart building, how building automation. Here is picture was made in last week. Building process is already running. We bring it with drone. So this can look in the future. This is the new possibility to how this old speaker can develop and his ideas, his money here. We have quite active the part of them system. We working with UN nations. We are part of UN and the world pilot cities in the world. And all this 10 years work and this 4 minutes what I speak to you is mean that's 43 positive financial project and more like 47 million euros. This is more like 3 years city budget. And we are promoting this strongly in Europe. We are bringing investment to the region, changing totally the profile of the city and reducing CO2. And we almost with 5 years we are accomplishing the goals. And 2012 we have already 4,363 cities as member of government mayors. So we are the front page there. We're promoting this strongly in Europe. And when I tell you to the former commissioner, the Barroso, he said that I cannot believe this. This is not possible, but it's possible, saving CO2 for 42%. And you want to see face of Barroso? Okay. And welcome to next week. We have a big conference in our autumn international, and thank you.
Thank you. Okay, breathe now. That was impressive, the amount of information in 5 minutes. Okay, thank you very much. Our next speaker is Jorge Garcia. He's responsible of the Smart City Initiative at the Barcelona Supercomputer Center.
Good morning. I'm going to present a project which is made together with IBM Research, Barcelona Supercomputing Center, and the Agencia de Ecología Urbana de Barcelona. Okay. So the problem we want to solve is essentially how we can build a semantic model of a city which is customizable and which allows to access the data which is spread among many different silos of information. This is a very important problem, I think, in cities today, and this is what we want to address. and also how to make that models that are developed for one specific city can be exported, can be reused in other cities with the lowest cost possible, okay? So the use case is the following. We cooperate with Agencia de Ecología Urbana of Barcelona. They have what they call the ecosystemic urbanism model, which is a model to encourage sustainable growth in cities, and which is based on the evaluation of 50 indicators for measuring degree of compactness, complexity, efficiency, and cohesion in cities, okay? So they collect a lot of data, and they come up with 50 indicators that gives you a kind of rate of how sustainable is a city, or a part of a neighborhood of a city, okay? To do that, they have to collect data which comes in many different formats from many different sources. Most of them are databases, but increasingly also open linked data. They have this model for sustainability, but you can extend and to find other models for other aspects like air quality, water, biodiversity, etc. And the problem they have is collecting all this data takes many, many months, even years. And every time they go to a new city, they have to repeat the process over again. So it's really very, very time-consuming. We are working in a solution which is used on semantic web technology. Essentially, is used in extending an ontology. An ontology, if you don't know what is essentially a formal model of all the concepts and relationships of things that can happen in a city, like buildings, tenants, I mean, all the concepts that you can play in a city. And thanks to use this semantic web technology, you can obtain a kind of uniform model of the data which is in the city, okay? And this model, which is called an ontology, supports extension and specialization for different type of domains or cities, okay? So at the end of the day, what you have is that all the data which tells you things about the city can be accessed in a very uniform way. So this simplifies a lot the problem of building new models or let's say reducing the time for obtaining the parameters. This is a web service. I cannot show you all the details of the web. It's something that it's a prototype still, but it's coming to a final product, let's say. So you can visualize on a map the queries aggregating data that comes from many different sources. You can explore the metadata graph. The metadata means you can explore how the data is organized in the city, which kind of data is in the city, etc. This is very similar to a web search, like a Google, let's say. And then you can compute the indicators that tell you how sustainable is one neighborhood or one area or a whole city in this case, okay? Well, so the advantage of our approach is that you can access this data uniformly without modifying the data sources. You can explore and navigate the metadata. You can query graphically. You can detect some class of data conflicts automatically, and it works as a web application. So our approach within that excels at data integration, query, and reasoning, makes a model which is independent on the specific data, how specifically organized is the data in a city, and that makes much easier to extend the model developed for one city, let's say Barcelona, to another city, let's say to Boston or to New York or whatever, okay? So thank you very much.
And thank you, Jorge. Our last speaker, she comes from Boston. She's Jutta Friedrich, and she is the co-founder of a Changing Environments Incorporated company.
Thank you and welcome everybody. I'm here from Changing Environments. It's a startup that spun out of the MIT Media Lab earlier this year. And I'm presenting to you a SUFA, which is a smart urban furniture. And what we're trying to do with our startup is to build a network essentially an Internet of Things of urban infrastructure, social urban infrastructure. Clicked all buttons by now.
To this one. Does it work?
Okay. So does that work then? Yeah. Okay. So for everybody here, this is probably a very familiar slide, and I don't want to go into all the numbers in detail, but what really surprised me when I put these numbers on the map is the red number there. 2.6 chargers per mobile phone in New York City every day, which seems a little bit crazy numbers. And at the same time, we are moving throughout the city much more freely now with different modes of communication and different modes of transportation. So we developed SUFA, which is a smart urban furniture, which is solar powered, and uses the sun to power people's phones and tablets, devices. So it has 2 USB plugs in which citizens can plug in and charge for free. And at the same time, we are integrating an array of sensors, and are also in the future will be integrating communication into this. So what we realized with the cities that have signed up so far is that they really like this concept because, first of all, we are providing a bench. We are really providing infrastructure that they buy on a regular basis, but also it is a very autonomous unit. So they love this idea that we can just plug and play, put it there. It takes 10 minutes to install, just as any other bench, and then they have power. I've come across the park manager of the Greenway, which is privately owned park in Boston, and he said that where we put a bench, where we put a sofa and essentially provided power, they had been looking and rerouting the power from the grid previously from about as far as the back of the room to where the sofa was, and it would have cost $120,000. So they love this idea that I can just drop in a bench that is a little more expensive than a bench and a regular bench and have a power source. So this is our roadmap. We are already providing solar power charging. And we are also we're in the process of integrating connectivity to these benches. And also in the future, we will have a channel of communication through which we can then provide content and plug services, etc. So this is where we are seeing ourselves in between Internet of Things, content, which is on the low side right now, but we're going to build this out in the future, the smart city and big data that we're collecting, urban furniture, and services that we can provide to the citizens and to the cities. I'm going to skip, I think, okay. So what we're doing is we are activating a space. There's a lot of effort right now in the US to activate space and bring citizens out into the space, especially with the smart. We are often saying that digital media has isolated people and from each other, but we are really trying to get them out back into the space, using it and not taking away their mobile phones because that's just hopeless. So we're using both. Through that, we can grab the attention of the people because they're actually in the space charging. They remain there. And we can collect data from the environment as well as the environmental environment as well as the social environment. So, and I don't want to show you this to show off by any means, but what we've been told in the beginning is that what we want to do is somewhat crazy. The timelines that we had were kind of crazy. And we just made a run for it and just showed that cities don't have to move slow, and things that we do in the cities, they don't have to be slow. My background in design, so I had about 3 weeks to design actually the actual bench. Then we had a rendering. We got support from Verizon and Cisco for the first pilot. We filed the patent. We launched at the White House a couple of weeks later, the White House Maker Faire, and then a couple of weeks yet later, we installed the pilot with the mayor of Boston, Mayor Welch. And from that, we have gotten an incredible feedback from all over the world. I think we have about 30 countries right now that had inquired and put press out about us. And we've started collecting purchase orders. We are closing the first 100 purchase orders right now. Our majorities are cities, and everybody in the beginning told us to stay away from cities because they're very slow moving. Well, it seems like somehow there are some more flexible budgets there. We get a lot of good feedback and support from the sustainability managers, of directors of various cities. One of the cities is LA, city of Irvine, Austin, that we're going to be working with. So, and this is really important. Well, I'll start with this one first. I've been trying to scratch my head and understand why it took off so quickly. And I think what we've been doing unconsciously is different from most of the infrastructure that's out there. We designed something that comes across like a consumer product. We really design it for the people, and people have embraced it. And every once in a while we are realizing that the mayors in the background, or sustainability office, the urban mechanics department, for instance, in Boston, has been super supportive. They're running around and pitching our products because they really feel like it's a product for them. It is not a light post, it is not a bike rack, it is a product for the people. And they seem to embrace this a lot. And so we are creating a social space for social interaction. We have Facebook pages for all of them. So each bench has fans. And the mayor's office actually, before we installed the pilot, has put out a call for that was out for 3 weeks, and we got 400 location requests for the last 2 SUFAs within 3 weeks. I said that was the biggest urban participation that I have ever seen in their city. So that's it. That's us changing environments, and feel free to look more information up on our website or contact me. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. That was, well, the round of presentations. Well, it was really impressive, as I was saying at the beginning of the session. I mean, we've covered a lot of solutions that are actually developed, and they are working, and they are helping our cities to become more efficient. And as Jutta was saying, this doesn't have to be a slow change. That's something that happens in the long term. All these people are working on real projects that are already developed and working and showing results. We have seen in European projects on how using the sounds that we produce to save energy, metering and sensors, how can help to save energy and water to make our networks more efficient. We've seen how to share data within the users. How can this help also to make to reduce the amount of energy we use. We've seen how we can develop platforms of fleet cars, of electric fleet cars that will reduce the amount of cars that we have in the streets. Also, we can use apps that will help us in the same way, not with electric, but with taxis in this case, to share resources that are already deployed in our cities, like in this case taxis. We've seen what is the impact that some technologies like Wi-Fi, implementing Wi-Fi and other smart technology can have, like in our cities and in the public space. We've seen like a complete deployment of an impressive strategy, and how can a committed politician can bring results in reducing by 42 the CO2 emissions in a city in Estonia. That was an amazing presentation. And we've seen how evaluating the quality of metrics for sustainable cities can also help in the same way I was saying, and how can we, through an urban furniture, help to connect people and help to have powers to our phones and many other things that can further develop from those ones. If anyone in the room have any question for the presenters, that would be your time now. There is microphones in the alleys if you want to stand up and make a question. people in Spain is very shy, so the people coming from outside don't worry, that is normal. And well, I will have then one question for you. I don't know. Well, we will bring one of these microphones. Oh, it's here. So if anyone want to stand up and so you are developing technologies that are complementing what we already have in cities. I mean, you are complementing the service providers of energy. You are complementing well the existing furniture. You are complementing many things. What are the main drawbacks that you find? Well, the main problematics that you find in developing further your solutions, and what will be how we can help? I mean, whenever we approach a politician or whatever, we approach big companies explaining about what you've just explained here, what would be, I don't know, your vision to make these changes happen a little bit more faster? Would anyone?
Hi. In our case, the most difficult thing is, or the problem is the regulation, because we would like to have access to the data from the smart meter in terms of a citizen, and we cannot unless we are working with the utility. So this is something that should be solved in some way, because if not, we have to install a submetering devices that increase the cost by 90%, and then this is a very clear barrier. Mm-hmm. So for us, if the data was really released, would really help to scale our projects to thousands of customers.
So we would need to speak to politicians or big companies or both at the same time in order to facilitate that.
Yeah, we actually are working with utilities across Europe, providing our services through them to the end users. And this is also a business case, of course, but thinking in a city mindset, I would say that if we as citizens can have access our data and provide it to third parties to promote energy efficiency services, the process will be really fast, and I'm sure that we will achieve efficiency results, better results, and faster. So I would say that this is, according with our experience, is really a barrier to having access to the data.
Okay. And for instance, for connecting projects that have been shown in these presentations, I mean, we have chargers and we have electric fleets vehicles. Probably there would be how can we foster the development of electric vehicles in cities? Which kind of infrastructures or which kind of political commitments will we need in order to develop that?
Lo más importante es que tiene el soporte de los ayuntamientos, el alcalde, por ejemplo, y que tiene una persona que se dedica a esa tarea. Y luego los municipios son muy importantes para crear la situación correcta o agradable para instalar la infraestructura. No es la tarea de los municipios de instalarla, sí, pero pueden preparar la situación agradable para hacerlo. Y también hay las regulaciones de los que pueden decidir los municipios y pueden ayudar con mucha prisa si quieren. Y por eso es muy importante que el ayuntamiento, los municipios quieren hacerlo y quieren promover la movilidad eléctrica, por ejemplo, pero también otros asuntos, claro.
And one of the other issues that was... Okay, go ahead.
Añadiría una cosa, es que desde mi punto de ver, que no es el vuestro, yo creo que sí que los ayuntamientos tienen un papel fundamental, pero más que todo tienen que escuchar a la gente, mucha participación ciudadana, mucha información, mucha formación para saber lo que es posible, cómo se puede cambiar y que haya una voluntad realmente que haga su presión para cambiar los esquemas, porque la ciudad cambia por la voluntad política cuando también escucha la sociedad, y la sociedad creo que quiere cambiar.
Yes, we were well, in many sessions this issue has been brought, that probably city, our city leaders are more closer to what the citizens want in their cities, that the other levels of the administrations that probably they don't touch so much, or they don't talk so much with the citizens, and they talk to another levels of I don't know, big companies, and then it's difficult to compromise both levels of interest at some point. What the citizens want in the cities and what a national policy on energy would expect, because they look at the big companies that they have in their cities. And for instance, there were many presentations here in which the gathering of data was necessary. I mean, in the case of the park, you were using mobile phone networks. I mean, what you need to download an app, and then with that app, you are already collecting the information that's from users and using it to help other users. And then in your case, you need the development of a network of meters that collect the data to bring up the data of the network. Is it how is it what would you need? I mean, how far have you getting those meters in place? Which kind of help, of which kind of framework, political framework, or maybe of regulation would you need in order to have this information that you need?
In many cases for utilities, it's the case to be made to make the larger capital investments up front to do a larger scale rollout of swapping out metering technology and making sure that it's socially respected, and that the consumers and citizens are appreciating the investment, and that they have a funding mechanism to make those upfront investments. Typically, the payback is 3 years, so it's very economic, but you still need to make that initial capital outlay. Okay. And then utilities are, dealing with bringing back so much information and the smarter meters and technologies. So thinking about how they manage that data and then make it available so that you get the most value out of it. There's a lot of work being done and a lot of great ideas about what's next in that area.
Okay, thank you. Well, and maybe the last question would be for Andres, and how can we bring your energy to the rest of society in order to reduce the energy emissions and make our cities more sustainable?
I think in Europe and the world, it is a lot of cities who are so active like our cities, but I think it's two things in the city level. One is, of course, the leadership, and you must be very active, but in the other case is the community itself. If community want to not have some changing, and you must, we speak today about smart cities, and this is one thing what is on the top, but we must go to the bottom and go to cities and what's going on in the world. Such kind of technical solution, such kind of the people normally don't not so much about them, and you must connect the people and leadership between. I think this is the key question of the development of city.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts and your projects and your solutions, and good luck to you all. Thank you very much.